Is there such a good thing as a good version of the Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Belushi film Red Heat for the film to game tie-in? I'll be honest, I was a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger as a kid. I would watch most of the films on VHS and actually own most of them too. Some notable favourites were The Running Man, Commando, Last Action Hero and of course Terminator 2. But this film never seemed to be a go-to film for me. I think I watched it a couple of times as a kid, but really doesn't go down for me personally as one of my favourites. It falls under the buddy cop action comedy genre, which we once seen a lot of. Having a huge interest in Russian or Soviet history from Lenin to Stalin, I really should go out my way to watch this film again, even though it was mainly filmed in Hungary. So we have two unlikely characters who end up teaming up in this film. We got Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays Ivan Danko, he is a Soviet policeman, and James Belushi, who is an American detective. And of course, when this film released back in 1988, we were still living through the Cold War era, where Americans despise Soviets and the Soviets despise Americans and so on. A nice idea in retrospective given the historical context by putting two political backgrounds together as buddies. It turns out that both characters in the film have been assigned to the same case, track down a Georgian drug kingpin. Arnie, also known as Ivan, has a personal vendetta as this kingpin had his colleague murdered. This is the very basic premise of Red Heat. Now on with the games. These were all released by Ocean Software in 1989 originally. The Amiga, C64 and ZX Spectrum versions all had a budget re-release in 1991 on Ocean's budget label The Hit Squad. I'll also note here that each one of these versions were all developed by the same team, which was British Studio Special Effects. Each one of these games have largely been criticised over the years for being so terrible. It's not really often this game is praised on any platform, but as requested a good few times now, we are making a good situation out of a bad situation and ranking from worst to worst, I mean worst to best, Red Heat, the video game. This ZX Spectrum version really is as bad as it looks. We can forgive the ZX Spectrum's monochrome look because that's how Spectrum is. It's not a visual powerhouse compared with other home computer systems of this era. What we can't forgive though is the gameplay. If you're new to this game, well, this is what we get. A cinematic looking presentation with the characters' bottom halves not visible. So where do I start apart from this being a dull and very pitiful version? Well, hit collision detection doesn't really seem to be a thing here. I frantically pressed down on the fire button to punch baddies, which seemed to want to work when it felt like it. Enemies will team up on you, trap you on the left hand side of the screen and just punch you. Blocking hits isn't really a thing here. It's like they purposely wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger to be a complete sissy here. We get our fair share of things such as bullets being fired at us, and to duck these can be a little bit hit or miss. The first stage here looks like James Belushi running across the screen with a bizarre look to his face, but I can't be sure if this is James Belushi. We also get an extremely blocky stage 1 presentation screen, which introduces the game to stage 1, the hothouse. This is likely one of Spectrum's worst games for motion. It's not nice and it likely caused kids a lot of distress at the time. We get no in-game music either. If you had this originally, you would have paid £8.99 for this on cassette, around £25 in today's money, or £14.99 for a disc release. Just under £39 in today's money. Good lord, what a rip-off. I think that the development team changed the colours of the sprites and ported over the Spectrum's game for the Amstrad CPC. Everything that was annoying with the Spectrum's release was just as equally irritating here too. It could have been a chance of an upgrade version visually, but no, we got this lazy and extremely boring version of Red Heat. The opening image to stage 1 is just as blocky as the Spectrum's version. Controls are all over the place here, and hit collision detection is pretty much as bad as the Spectrum's game. No in-game music, sound effects which are shockingly terrible, the colours used on the sprites themselves just look ridiculous with its Spectrum looking background. I would like to say that this was a huge upgrade from the other 8-bit versions. Sure, it looks better and has several different colours used for the gameplay screen, but it really just boils down to a boring game to play. We have a full screen here, and we can actually play the game with music or just sound effects. We can select our choice at the start of the game in the options menu for music or sound effects, that is. In this edition, Arnie is walking from the left hand side. Hit collision detection isn't bad here compared to the other 2 versions, but by no means at all is it any good. It just means slightly improved on just a touch. We of course have the whole cinema look here, complete with film rules on the top and bottom part of the gameplay screen. Does it look good? Well, it's something to take away the boredom of playing Red Heat for the Commodore 64. We also have a lot of objects being thrown at us here too. These travel to hit you very fast, and most of the time they end up hitting you anyways, even if we do duck. We have what appears to be rubble falling down on us here, which again is difficult to avoid. The sound effects are pretty bland really, it's just so boring to play. I mean, I know Ocean likes putting out bad games from time to time, but why? Why would you subject kids to this? Nothing more than stealing kids' pocket money. Although, just like the ZX Spectrum's version had a re-release of this on the Hit Squad label from Ocean, even its £2.99 price tag at the time was a piss take. Just imagine you only had a choice of this game or Highlander. Damn, what a bad childhood. I have never played the 16-bit versions of Red Heat. I honestly thought things could change with that extra computer power. Something did change with the Atari ST release here, the visuals, and that's really it. I was watching the James Belushi animation here with his mouth opening and closing while some script appeared. I'm not sure if this looked ridiculous intentionally or what, I just don't get it. So in this edition, obviously the visuals are nicer here, but still fairly pitiful for an ST game. We get to take on what looks like John Rambo here and other enemies which are equally as frustrating to punch and headbutt like any other version in this list. Bad collision detection is a theme for this game, regardless of platform. We also get increased difficulty here, with even more things being thrown at us, and bullets flying from both ways everywhere. Those are clunky. Again, another truly awful version of Red Heat. I wasn't expecting the Commodore Amiga's version to be any better than the Atari ST's release, and it really wasn't, apart from having brighter visuals and better sounds. Just like the Atari ST release, we can pick up energy here, which is a banana. Yes, you heard it, and you can see it, a banana. I haven't watched Red Heat for years, but this banana thing certainly doesn't ring any bells from the film. I also noticed that, as in most games, when we pick up health, the icon normally disappears after taking it. Not here though, it just seems to stay as you leisurely stroll through the sauna. We finally make it outside, and the first thing we see is a friendly looking snowman. I mean, come on, what is this game about? I really don't know if this was a serious attempt for a film game tie or what. James Belushi's weird mouth is back in this version too with a vengeance. This Commodore Amiga's release is just as punishing as any other release of Red Heat. The controls on pretty much every platform were terrible, hit collision on every platform was terrible, this game is terrible, I honestly had enough of this game. Will I ever play Red Heat again? I think you've got more chance of me doing a nude dance in front of Vladimir Putin and play this game again. And that's it for today's ranking those really shockingly bad Red Heat games. So like I just said, I'll never play this game again, but what I do want to know is, did you actually enjoy Red Heat? If you did enjoy it, which platform did you enjoy it on? Did you hate Red Heat, and do you actually agree that the Amiga got top space? Literally, I put the Amiga version in top just down to the visuals and the sounds. The gameplay is atrocious regardless of the platform. It's just a really, really awful game, and if you've not played it, play it and comment in the section below and get back to me and see what you personally think about it. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Until next time, thanks for watching.